whole new idea, whole new world. All right, guys, go ahead and just take a moment, find a comfortable seat. You all look pretty comfortable, but maybe upright. And I'm just going to share a little bit. Our focus today is, would you turn the, I'll just turn this off actually. Our focus today is Vata Dosha. There are 3 dosha in Ayurveda that we're always working with. They are governing principles, and they govern our biology, our physiology, and our psychology. And Vata is the governing principle of movement in the body. In fact, the word Vata, its root is Va, which means vehicle or movement, mover. So it's moving all of our thoughts, our feelings, the emotions. It's moving the muscles. It's moving the energy in our nervous system. And it's responsible for even the movement in our digestive system. And it governs also the seasons or the transition from one season to another, and it governs space. So it's considered to be a principle of communication. So in between one thing and another is this space, and for communication to move easily from one to the other, if these are 2 cells or 2 people, it helps to facilitate clear communication. It's considered generally very light because it's a combination of ether and air, so space and movement. So it's really subtle, and it's easy to make it go out of balance because it doesn't have a lot of structure to contain it or to create a container for it. So we have to do that for it through our routine, our regularity in our lifestyle. When Vata gets out of balance, we see a rise in things like popping and cracking in the joints. There's somebody in the weight room. Maybe even experiencing low back pain or some digestive just discomfort, constipation, maybe gas, bloating, those kinds of things. And it also creates an instability in our mind, so we become ungrounded and anxious and maybe even fearful. And on top of what's happening in our world these days, it's really easy for Vata to go out of balance and for us to really start to feel ungrounded. So our focus in this class is to bring some stability and regularity to this particular dosha. Its main therapeutic site is the large intestine, so the colon. But we also want to think about postures, pranayama, and asana that will target not only our digestive organs or the abdominal organs, but also the pelvic area and the thighs. So we're going to incorporate stuff to target these areas today. All right. So let's just take 3 breaths. And for these first 3, just settle into your seat. Make sure you can feel your sits bones connecting with the floor. And then start to take active control of your breath. The breath is such a cool thing. It can move and be managed all by itself without any input from us, or we can act on it to lengthen it and slow it down. So do that now. And lengthen your inhalation and your exhalation to either a count of 4, 5, or 6, or longer if you have nice strong prana vahasrotas, which are the breath or prana carrying channels. One of the things we're going to incorporate today is a bija sound. Last week we worked with pitta and we were working with the sound ah. This week we're working with vata, and so we want to work with a little bit heavier, more grounded sound. And so we're going to work with the sound, or the bija, the seed sound of the first chakra, which is lam, L-A-M, and really getting some connection to that sound when we get there. So we'll do lam 3 times, right? Taking a few more breaths. Softening the jaw, releasing the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Let your shoulders relax, let the belly relax. And invite the next breath in for lam. 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 Continuing to breathe nice and deeply, but now shifting to an open mouth exhale, still in through the nose, but out through the mouth. And allow your tongue to rest in your lower jaw so that you can out the breath. And by releasing the tongue to sit in the lower jaw, this activates all of the chakra below the belly button. So the belly button all the way down to your feet. We open up that flow by doing an open mouth exhale and relaxing the tongue. So let's take 3 more of those. Go ahead and close the mouth, returning to a normal breath. Sit up tall and reach your arms out in front of you. It's important that we do some joint freeing movements because Vata is governing all that space in the joints. So just squeeze and release the fists a few times. Good, and then hug the thumbs, bring the wrists together and just flip them in and out a few times. Good, and reverse. Good, and then just tapping the shoulders a few times. Lovely. Good, and now keep your fingertips on the shoulders and open up the chest. Really squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. When Vata gets high and we become ungrounded, we can also feel unsupported. Go ahead and spin the other way. Good. And we want to work with our spine when we're feeling unsupported because that's a major part of our physiology that helps to keep us supported. Hey, Julie. Oh, so lovely to see you. I hope to get a glimpse of your face. All right, reach all the way up. Reach up and out through your waist, and then exhale your right hand down. Good, and just lean over to the right, stretching the left side of the body. Good, try not to let your head fall. Good, reach, reach, reach. Really press down through that right hip or left hip. Good, and then inhale the arms up. Good, right hand down. Gently lean to the right. Good, really reach up through your fingertips and reach down through your hips. Like press that sits bone down towards the floor. Get lots of length in the right side of the body. Good, inhale both arms up. And exhale, big wide arms, let the fingertips find the floor behind you. Gently lean back, lift your chin and reach your chin up towards the ceiling. Stretching your whole throat. Good, and then come back to a comfortable seated position. And we're gonna move on to, before we move anywhere actually, if you have towels or a blanket, let's get those ready before so that they're ready when we need them. So we're just gonna, if you have towels, open them up nice and wide, laying them over each other. And then just roll that up into as tight of a little tube as you can get. And we'll just set that off to the side. Good. From there, when you're ready, we're going to come into Macrossan, which is crocodile pose. So you'll be on your belly. And you want to start in Sphinx so that your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. And then you just walk your elbows forward like 3 inches. And then stack your wrists or your forearms on top of each other. Take your feet out so the toes turn out and you can connect the inner upper thigh to your mat. And then rest your forehead down so that the cervical spine really relaxes. And you might want to try walking your elbows out a little bit further. Try not to go completely extended because then it's hard on the neck. So just keeping a little angle in the armpit. And just start to reconnect with your breath here. Feeling the reverberation of the floor back into the abdominal organs as you breathe deeply. Feel your hip bones and your pubic bone connected to the floor. Feel the thighs connecting to the floor, and maybe the medial aspects of the knee, the inner knee joint, also connecting to the floor. Good. Macrossan is a great posture for Vata because it targets and brings some weight and energy to everything below the belly button. And while Vata governs all movement in the body, we want to keep the down and out movement very healthy and balanced because it can cause the other vayus, the other directions of wind in the body, to become unbalanced. So we want to keep all these movements going in their right direction. Take 3 more breaths. Breathe deep into the low, low abdomen. And as you breathe in, fully feel the low back even lift. That sacrum is also governed by Vata. And bringing some breath to the kidneys. Good. Now extend your legs or bring them together behind you. Bring your arms or hands to your sides by the ribs. And we're just going to gently press up and right back into child's pose. Resting the belly on the thighs and bringing the forehead towards the floor. It may or may not touch. And again, you can find the same Macrossan arms here so that the cervical spine can really relax. Your forehead should be touching something. And now breathe really deeply into the sacrum area, into the low back, into the hips, and even into the kidneys. These organs are also associated with this dosha. And they tend to harbor or host excess emotions of fear and anxiety. So breathe deeply into that low back space and give some nourishment to the kidneys and the adrenals. One more nice, long, strong breath here. Okay, now reach your arms out in front of you and gently come up to your hands and knees. Placing the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, starting with the tailbone, draw it underneath you, round the low back, draw the ribs up, pull the belly button up towards the spine, let the head draw towards the chin and push the floor away from you. This is cat position. Now inhale, release the tailbone, the pubic bone, the hip bones, release the belly down, let the chest come down. Continue to push the floor away from you as you lift the chin and look up towards the ceiling. Good. Keep gazing towards the ceiling, but exhale, start to round the back, hips, low belly, coming into the middle, chest, and then drawing the chin in, emptying the breath. Inhale, release the tailbone, the hip bones, the low belly, the chest. The chin comes away from the chest as we push the floor away and look up. Good. Continue to move back and forth, but start each movement with the tailbone and then move up towards the spine. And let the breath really initiate each movement. So as you inhale, then you start to lift up and out, coming into the cow pose. And as you exhale, then you can start to move into cat pose. Do that 3 more times. Feeding each area of the spine, the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar, with prana and nourishment. All of those nerves and muscles being fed. Okay, adding in a little bit here. Now exhale, round the back, and take the hips to the heels. As you empty the breath, and then inhale right back up to your hands and knees. Draw the toes under, lift the chin, lower the belly. And now exhale, press up and back to downward dog. Empty the breath here. And then inhale, bring the knees back to the floor. Lift the chin. Exhale, round the back. Tops of the feet come to the floor and the hips go back to the heels. Good. So I'm going to just give the breath initiation. So we inhale to come up. Exhale, back to downward dog. Inhale to your hands and knees. Lift the chin. Exhale, round the back, hips to the heels, child's pose. Inhale to your hands and knees. Lift the chin. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time. Good. Inhale, come back to your hands and knees. Lift the chin, lower the belly. Exhale, round the back, send the hips to the heels, child's pose. Inhale, come up, draw the toes up. Lift the chin. And then exhale back into downward dog. Good, and now we're going to stay in down dog. And just start by pedaling out your feet. Feeling really steady in your shoulders and in your hands. So continue to press into the floor. Good, and now lift up onto your toes or onto the balls of the feet and feel into your hands. I want you to press down at the base of each finger. Good. Press into your thumbs and let the elbows roll underneath you as you push the floor away. And then let your heels find the floor. They may or may not touch. Take 3 breaths here. Keep drawing the belly towards the spine, activating those low abdominal muscles. Feeling strength in the arms as you push the floor away from you, reaching the arms out of the shoulders. Good, and now draw the eyes up to the space between your hands and very slowly walk your feet up behind the wrists. And feel free to keep a nice bend in your knees if your hamstrings are tight or if your low back is in any pain at all. Okay. Good. And just hang the torso over the legs. Arms are just resting on the floor. And start by shaking the head no. And then shaking the head yes. Good. All right, so we're going to work with some Marma Points in class today. The first one is called Kshipra, and it's at the base, it's your big toe, at the base of the nail bed where it meets the toe joint. And I just want you to press your thumbs in there. As you inhale, look up, lengthen the spine, like half lift, and then exhale, release. Continue to press into that point, empty the breath, draw the chin to the chest. Good. Inhale, lift the chest, look forward, press deeply into the thumbs, into that toe point. Exhale, round the back. Release the breath. Good. One more time. Halfway lift up, pressing into that point, and then exhale, rounding. Good. Go ahead and take a hold of opposite elbows and just gently let the torso hang. Let the arms be loose, falling out of the shoulder socket. That point on the toe, it's called Kshipra, and it's a point for activating what we call Apanavayu, which is the down and outward direction of movement that is governed by Vata. So it helps to regulate our menstrual cycle, it helps to regulate bowel movements and all excretory systems, and it helps to keep us grounded. Good. Release the elbows. Tuck your thumbs into your hip joint. Draw the elbows and shoulders back. Bend your knees nice and deep so that your thighs are parallel to the floor. And then press into your strong legs and stand all the way up. Reach the arms up at the top. Interlace your hands. Release the index finger. This is Vera Mudra or wind mudra. So reaching up through the fingertips. And then gently bend over to your right. Inhale, stand up tall. Exhale, gently bend to the left. Good. Inhale, stand all the way up. Reach up, wiggle yourself up and out of your hips. And then exhale, big, big open arms as you bring the hands back by your sides. Good. And from here, just swing the arms side to side, lifting the opposite heel, releasing any kind of leftover tension in the back. And give your kidneys a little tap. as you swing the arms. Good. Okay. Shake out the arms. We're going to do a little bit of breath work here. We're going to work with lion pose. Helps to make us courageous and full of willpower. So we're going to inhale as we swing the arms up, and then exhale, open mouth, tongue out. Good. So inhale up. One more time. Good. Inhale up. Reach all the way up and exhale slowly, the hands back to your sides. Hey, little puppy. Okay, come up to the top of your mat. Step the feet together. Good. Soft knees. So one thing let's be really focused on today, everybody, is that when we're standing or in any posture, we're not locking the joints. So a little softness in the knees, little softness in the elbows. Draw your belly button, or draw this space just below your belly button up and parallel your chin to the floor. Good. Take a deep breath in. Exhale your hands together in front of your heart. Interlace your fingers. Inhale. Send the arms up as you lift up onto your toes or onto the balls of the feet. And then exhale the heels down, hinge forward at the hips. Fold over the legs. Let your thumbs, I was going to say tongues. That would be awesome. Let your thumbs find that toe point. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, compress the belly to the thighs. Good. Hands anchor on either sides of the feet, and we're going to step way back with the right foot. Let that knee come down. All right, so this is the first place we might want the blocks, depending on the flexibility in the hips, in the knees, and in the thigh. So arms are at your sides, on blocks, or on the floor, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Good, and just take 3 deep breaths here. As you let the hips start to sink down, don't let your knees go beyond your toes. We're really looking for this deep connection or compression that the left thigh is giving to the descending colon, so the part of the colon that's most ready for elimination. Take a couple more breaths here. We really start to find the flow for Vata when we hold the postures a little bit longer, because it helps to stabilize the movement in the body. Good. Okay, go ahead and set the blocks off to the side. If you're using them, press into the back, big toe, lift the knee, squeeze your belly, and step back into downward dog. Empty the breath here. And then inhale, draw yourself forward. Soft bend in the elbows. Lower the thighs down first, so just above the knees, touch. Release the tops of the feet, and then slowly roll all the way down. All the way, let your nose touch the floor. And then inhale, lift. Draw the elbows and shoulder blades back. Exhale, tap your nose to the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap the nose. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, release slightly. Turn the toes under. Press up through the hands and knees and back to downward dog. Step your feet together on the mat behind you so that you're making this nice strong pyramid. And inhale the right leg up halfway. Exhale, gently step it through. Good. Setting that back knee down, releasing the top of the back foot to the floor, and coming onto your blocks. Now we're compressing the ascending colon. So this is the part of our digestive system that's just picked up food from the small intestines. So at this point, if we're thinking of our digestive process, we're about 4 or 5 hours away from our last meal when the food gets to this point. Good, so breathe deeply here, getting some nice compression into this area, softening into the hips and the thighs, maintaining that nice, gentle 4-4 or 5-5 or 6-6 ratio breath. Make sure you're not locking the elbows. Good, and now pull this leg in, so don't let that knee fall out. Be in nice control of it. Set your blocks off to the side. Plant your hands on either side of that right foot. Draw the back toes under, lift the back knee, squeeze your belly muscles, and step the left foot to the top. Empty the breath as you fold over the legs. Good. Let your thumbs find that toe point. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release, and hug your legs. Good. Release, take the arms out to the sides. Nice bend in the knees as you inhale to stand all the way up. Look up. And exhale, hands back to the heart center. Inhale, interlace the hands. Send them out and up as you lift up onto the toes. Exhale the heels down. Fold at your waist. At your hips. Good. Thumbs to the toe point. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release. Hands to either side of the feet and step back with your left foot. All the way back. And again, coming into this deep lunge. Now, if you were on the blocks the first time, remove them or take them one, length down. So now we're really getting a nice deep compression. Look forward, but don't look up. Don't hurt your spine. But draw or open across the front of your collarbone, across the front of the chest. Take 2 more breaths here. Breathing deeply into the right lung. Good. On the next exhalation, lift that back knee, engage the abdominal muscles, and step back into downward dog. Empty the breath. And then inhale, drawing forward into this high push-up position, soft elbows. Lower the tops of the thighs down, release the tops of the feet, and roll down, almost like you were rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Exhale all the way down, tap your nose to the floor. Inhale, lift as you draw the shoulders and elbows back. Exhale, nose to the floor. Inhale, lift. One more time. Exhale, tap the nose down. Lift. Good. Release halfway. Turn the toes under, press up through the hands and knees, and back to downward dog. Stepping your feet together on the mat, making this triangle again. Inhale the leg up halfway, left leg. And then exhale, step it through. Lower the right knee to the floor. And again, 3 to 5 nice long breaths here with the belly and the thigh, finding a nice deep connection. Now we're back to the descending colon and breathing into the left side of the body or into the left lung. No doubt when we breathe, breath is going into both lungs, but prana follows thought. So whatever you're thinking of, that's where your energy goes. So let's think of the left lung as we breathe in deeply so that we can focus prana to move into this space. Prana or mana or chi, that vital life force. Same energy, different word. One more nice, really healthy breath here. Good. And now with an exhale, press into the back toes, lift that back knee, squeeze the abdominal muscles, draw the hips together as you step forward. Empty your breath. Good. Thumbs to the toe point. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, hug the back of the thighs as you empty the breath. Good. Inhale, bend into the knees. Take the arms out to the sides and up as you press into the feet, standing all the way up. Look up, reach up. Exhale to the heart. Good. Again, inhale, now taking the arms out and up. And exhale, fold over the legs. Hands on either side of the feet. From here, just walk the feet back into downward facing dog. Good. Okay, from here now, step your feet out so that they're just a little bit wider than your hips, but you can still bend your knees. And then walk your hands back 1/2 length. Press into the hands, let the chest move through the arms towards the thighs. And now we're going to work a little bit with the sacrum and low back area. This tends to be an area that when Vata is out of balance, we can get pain and discomfort in this area. So I want you to bring your right hand in just so that it's inside the line of your shoulder versus outside the line of the shoulder. Press into that right hand. Draw your left hand under and across to touch the outside of your right ankle. So this is going to stretch the low back on the left side and then to that waist. And as you reach for the side of your ankle or the back of your foot, go ahead and look up and under your right armpit. You should feel a nice deep stretch in the whole left side of the body. It gets all of the lumbar spine, all of the lumbar muscles up and down the spine. Take one more breath here. And then release. Bring that hand back out in front of you. And just come into a regular downward dog for a moment. And then bring your left hand just inside the left shoulder line and draw your right hand to the outside of the left ankle. Good. As you reach back for the outside of the left ankle, go ahead and look up and under your left armpit. And take 3 deep breaths. Good. Make sure you're not locking the knees. We want to allow energy to flow evenly and to get that blood and oxygen moving from the brain down to the feet and back. Good. Release that hold there. Hands back out in front of you. Bring the knees to the floor and come into child's pose. Resting the belly on the thighs. Walk your arms out in front of you and rest your forehead on the floor. Take 3 breaths, deeply pressing your belly into your thighs as you inhale. And drawing the belly button towards the spine as you exhale. 2 more breaths. Vata really appreciates this compression and the darkness. Weighted blankets are a great thing to have around if you have any Vata imbalance. Or a nice heavy kapha friend that would lay on you. Good. Inhale, coming back up to your hands and knees. Place the hands underneath the shoulders and press back to downward facing dog. Bring the feet together on the mat behind you, creating this diamond shape again. And inhale the right leg up. So only as high as you can keep your hips squared to the mat. And then draw your right foot through, step it down in between the hands, and step the back foot in just a little bit, coming up into warrior 1. So you can start with your hands at a goalpost position, or you can reach them up towards the ceiling. You want to make sure that your hips are squared towards the short edge of the mat, and then press into the feet as if you could lengthen your mat out lengthwise, and reach into that right knee just a little bit more. Good. Take your shoulders just in front of your hips so you don't crunch that low back, and take 2 more breaths. Feeling very strong and very grounded in the legs. So we're activating everything in the lower part of our body. We're strengthening the thighs. And we're bringing some compression for Vata. We're like giving Vata a hug. Good. Exhale the hands to the floor and step back into downward dog. From here, inhale up the left leg, keeping the hips squared. And then exhale, draw the right knee forward, step your left foot down, step the right foot in just a little bit, and warrior 2 on the left side. So again, goalpost arms or extended arms. Oftentimes what we'll see when we're doing postures that require us to do it on both sides is that on the second side we get a little bit more expansion. So if you were in goalpost arms on the first side, you might feel that your natural tendency is to move into the arms overhead. Activate the legs, pulling the mat apart. Bend in or reach into that left knee a little bit more, and then shift your your shoulders just in front of your hips. Good. Take 2 more breaths. You're so strong and you're so stable here. Good. Exhale the hands down to the mat and step back into downward facing dog. Good. We're going to be here for 3 breaths. You could also rest in child's pose if that felt more comfortable for you. If you're in downward dog, make sure you're not sinking into your shoulders. You're pushing the floor away from you. And now step the feet together or come into downward dog if you're resting in child's pose. And inhale the right leg up. This time, open up your hips. Keep your right foot flexed and then bend your knee. Moving your heel towards one of your glutes, it may or may not touch, but keep your shoulders steady and strong. Good, flip the hips back over, draw the right knee through, step the right foot down, and then turn your left heel down and come into warrior two. Good, so we should have some nice alignment with the front heel to the back arch. We're not leaning forward, we're not leaning back, we're getting ready for surf. Reach forward into your right knee. Dr. Ladd would always joke that if you could balance a cup of chai on your thigh in warrior two, then you're doing it correctly. So getting some strength here. And just by being in this posture, we're activating Marma points in the thigh that are related to Vata and to our source of energy. Good. From here, go ahead and cartwheel your hands towards the floor, but walk yourself to the center. So turn your toes towards the long edge of your mat. Nice wide angled forward fold, and just fold into the hips. If it's comfortable here, you can walk your hands back behind you so that you bring the crown of the head towards the floor. Soft knees even here. Keeping activation or strength in the legs and just allowing the torso, the upper part of the body, to relax while the legs remain active. Beautiful. From here, walk your hands out so that they're right underneath your face, and then walk all the way over to your left, setting up for warrior two on the left side. So bending into that left knee, grounding down through the back outer edge of that right foot, and then cartwheeling the hands up into warrior two. Good. Strong legs, so press your feet down into the floor. And this time, instead of thinking that you're pulling your mat apart, think about scooping the mat up underneath you. So you're activating the inner part of your thighs. Strong in the arms, you're gazing out over your left hand. 3 breaths here. Deepening into that left knee, getting lots of strength happening on this left side. If only I had a cup of chai to balance on my thigh. Good, one more nice long breath. Good, cartwheel your hands to the floor. Straighten that front leg and walk again to the center, coming into this forward fold one more time. And noticing the difference between the first and the second time, maybe now you can walk your hands back a little bit further. Maybe you're finding that your forearms can easily come to the floor. And just let your head hang. Great. From here, go ahead and walk all the way back to the front, framing your right foot, and then just step back to downward dog. Take a breath here. Good. Inhale, shift yourself forward and come onto your hands and knees. All right. So here we're going to use our rolled blanket. And I think many of you have done this with me before, so shouldn't be too hard. What we're going to do is we're going to place this rolled blanket right over our belly button. So it should not be on your ribs or your hips. It should be in the space in between. And we're just going to rest as best we can. All right, so as I'm here, I want you to see if you can get the towel or the blanket so that it's just below your belly button. It's almost like over, just at the top of your bladder. Good, and then rest your head on the floor and take your arms all the way up to the top, palms together in pranam. We're going to take 5 deep breaths here and really press, lift your belly, balloon the belly out into the towels, and then release. Inhale, press, let that belly fill up that balloon. Pressing into the mat, into the towels, and then release. Could do that 3 more times at your own pace. Really focusing on swelling up the belly, tightening the belly as you inhale, and then softening completely to fold and release and surrender the belly over the towel. One more breath. Good. Now walk your elbows back underneath the shoulders and slide this towel away from you. And then come all the way back down. Rest your arms at your sides. Turn your cheek to one side and take 2 breaths. Go ahead and turn your head to the other side. Exhale completely. Take 2 more breaths. Good. Now place your forehead on the mat. We're going to bend the knees and take a hold of the ankles or the tops of the feet, whichever feels more accessible for you. And then just bring your knees so that they're a little bit closer together, not touching, but in line with your hips. And before we move into Bandasan, which is bow pose, press into your knees and lift your hips away from the floor. Take a breath here. Good, and then release the hips down. Anchor your pubic bone, anchor your hip bones. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, press your feet into your hands and draw yourself up into bow pose. Good. So for this version, try to think about keeping the knees moving towards each other versus splaying out, and reach up through the toes. And as you breathe deeply here, notice that you rock gently back and forth on the belly. This is activating a number of Marma points in the abdominal area that help to regulate the flow of movement in the body. Good. Go ahead and release all the way down. Don't let go of your feet. Set your chin down and then walk your hands to the tips of the toes and gently pull the heels towards the glutes, getting a very gentle quadricep stretch. Good. Release the feet and press up onto your hands and knees. Beautiful. And back into downward facing dog. Stepping the feet together. Inhale your right leg up, keeping the hips squared to the mat. And then exhale, draw the right knee through, setting the right knee down behind your right wrist, preparing for pigeon pose, Kaphotasana. And just walk that back leg out. You want to make sure that your toes are turning in versus out from the center of the mat. And just come up onto your fingertips for a second. Lift your chest, take a deep breath in, and then walk yourself all the way down. Either coming onto your elbows, maybe into stacked arms, or maybe all the way forehead to the floor. We're going to stay here for 5 long breaths. So really allowing the hips to release any tension, any excess movement. Maybe there's been some twitching or spasming muscles in the legs or back. And this will help to bring all of that down, all of that energy down. If you find that your hip is really high, you're kind of like rolling off to one side, then you can stick a blanket or one of those towels under the hip. The mythology behind Kaphotasana, it's a long story, so I won't go into it, but essentially Shiva was with Parvati in this cave, and she had asked for all of the secrets to longevity. But before he could tell her, he had to clear the area so that nobody else could hear these very powerful secrets. but little did they know there was a pigeon egg under their cushion. And so the story is that by spending time in this posture, we're able to sit in our meditation for longer periods of time, as that pigeon sat and listened to Shiva tell the secrets of longevity. And slowly start to walk yourself back up. Good. Bringing your hands on either side of this right knee, turn the back toes under, lift the hips, and step back into downward dog. Moving to the other side, go ahead and inhale your left leg up. Just gonna move forward a little bit. And then exhale, draw that left knee through, set it down behind your left wrist. Walk the right foot down. Good. Lift up onto your fingertips. Lift your chest. Find a really gentle back bend here. Maybe even lift the chin a slight bit. And then exhale, walking yourself down. Coming to the elbows, forearms, or all the way to the floor. Maybe you want to have a block here. It's up to you. And settling in for 5 long breaths on this side. Of all the places we stack and store unprocessed energies, emotions, and thoughts, the hips are a major dumping ground or holding space for that unprocessed material. And so you might find that after long periods in this posture or any hip opening postures, that there's a release or surge of emotion. So if you feel like you need to scream, cry, or yawn, don't suppress those urges. Let them flow. Let them be liberated. One more nice long breath here. Softening even more into the hips, soften the feet. Good, and then slowly start to walk yourself up. And this time we're just going to shift over to the left a little bit and swing the legs out in front of us. Preparing for Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So for this practice, get not quick, but efficient in taking the thigh, spinning that thigh muscle out, and then setting back down on your sits bone. Inhale your arms up overhead. Soft bend in the knees, and then exhale, fold over the thighs, and come into a very gentle version of this first Paschimottanasana, keeping a little bend in the knees. And take 2 breaths. Take 2 more breaths. Good, and then walk yourself up. Draw the right knee in. Take your right hand behind you. Inhale the left arm up. And exhale, wrap that arm around the front of the right knee. And then spin or twist to look out over your right shoulder. And really think about that this twist is coming from the activation of your abdominal muscles. So squeeze those low abdominal muscles and use them to turn the torso to the right. Don't try to use your shoulders, and definitely don't use your head or neck to make this happen. This twist should be happening in the low abdominal area, helping to wring out the colon, the small intestines, the stomach, the liver, the spleen, the pancreas, and the gallbladder. Good. Slowly release, coming back to the front. And from here now, let this right knee not fall, but open up so that we can prepare for Janusirsasana on the left side. And if you've shifted at all, you might want to reestablish that connection with the sits bone. All right, so here your left hand comes behind you. Inhale, reach up through the right. And then exhale, take your right arm to the outside of your left foot as you fold forward. Yeah, good. And you can even find that there's a little bit of resistance of the back of your right hand pressing into the foot, and this foot being active and resisting that tension. Good. And if you can fold a little bit further, do so. Draw the chin towards your chest and look back towards this left hand. Good. Keep your left leg active. So really strong, powerful, bright foot here. And you're trying to send the center of your hamstring down into the mat. So you might even find that this heel will lift. Good. Inhale, sit all the way up. And now interlace your hands and press them over the top of this thigh. And as you do that, you want to press down and even think about squeezing this part of your thigh. So press down and draw the base of your wrists together and take 3 breaths. This point is called Shakti Urvi, and it's the root of our Shakti, of our energy. So you might even feel a little bit of quivering in this muscle as you activate this Marma point. It's helping to stabilize and ground the energies in the body. Good, release there. Bring that right knee up and out. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, come into Paschimottanasana one more time. We're actually going to do it a few more times. And just noticing any differences now in the right and left sides. You want to think about reaching the crown of your head towards the toes. Good. And be mindful of any rounding in the low back. Good. Inhale, come up, draw the left knee in. Left hand comes behind you. Inhale up through the right arm. And then exhale, wrap around the front of your left shin. Squeeze the abdominal muscles to turn the torso to look out over your left shoulder. Good. Nice deep breaths with each inhalation. You want to think about squeezing or zipping up those muscles of the abdomen as they turn the torso, the low torso, the lumbar part of our spine around to the left. Good. And all this time, we're sitting on our sits bones, where there is another powerful Marma point called Sphig. It's kind of a funny name, but this definitely helps to ground the energies and movement in the body. One more breath. Release the head, neck, chest. Turning all the way to the front and lowering now the left knee. Right hand comes behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Activate this right foot. Inhale up through the left arm. And then exhale, take your left hand across to the outer edge of your right foot, coming into Janu Sirsasana on the right side. Finding this resistance between the foot and the hand. Drawing the chin to the chest and looking back towards that right hand. Okay, let's take 3 long breaths. Keeping that leg active, pressing the middle of your right hamstring in towards the floor. Good. Press into the back of that right leg as you sit all the way up. Interlace your fingers and press into the middle part of your right thigh, pressing down and squeezing the base of the wrists together, or the palms together. Breathe deep. Great. Go ahead and release that. Bring the left knee up. Take the left foot out. Inhale the arms up. And exhale one last time into Paschimottanasana. Just noticing the difference this time now that both legs have been stretched out. If maybe you can hinge a little bit further, deepening this stretch, keeping the feet active, kicking your heels away from you, but most importantly, maintaining that even breath. Great. Go ahead and walk yourselves up to seated. Good. Bend your knees, placing the feet on the floor. Reach your arms out in front of you and slowly roll the spine all the way to the floor. Good. And then inhale, roll all the way back up. Exhale, roll down. Keeping the arms out in front of you nice and slow. Let your abdominal muscles be active so that this is a really controlled movement. Fingertips pointing towards the ceiling, and then round and draw yourself all the way back up. Good. We're going to roll down one more time. I'm just grabbing my block so that I have it handy. Do the same if you have one, and come all the way down. Good. Rest your head on the floor. Bring the heels a little bit closer to the glutes. Let the chin fall away from the chest. Let your palms roll open towards the ceiling. And take 2 breaths. Good. From here, we're going to come into Situ, Bandasan, bridge pose. So walking the heels a little bit closer towards to your thighs or your glutes. Good. Arms are at your sides, elbows bent, fingertips pointing towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, start by just pressing the backs of the arms into the floor, drawing the shoulder blades together. Take another breath. This time, as you exhale, press into the feet and start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Be mindful that as you start to lift the hips up, your chin might draw near to the chest. Don't force it away, but let it find some space so the chin can actually fall away from the chest. Good. Now interlace your hands underneath you. Activating the triceps, press the hands down into the floor as you lift the hips up a little bit higher, maybe even rolling towards the tops of the shoulders. Good, nice, strong activation for the thighs and the glutes and the glutes and the hamstrings. And take another breath. We're going to stay here for 3 more long breaths. So keep those legs active. Keep pressing the hips up towards the ceiling. Building some heat in the thighs, bringing some warmth to Vata, which tends to run a little cold. Good. Unlace your fingers, untuck your shoulders, and lower the hips down. Good. From here, hug the knees into the chest, draw the forehead to the knees. Give yourself a nice little hug. Good. Set the feet down, set the head down. Now we're going to come into a modified inversion. So taking a block or even a book works. Great. All right, so we're going to start by lifting into Situ Bandasan, so coming up halfway. And then we're going to place this block on its middle height, right? So here's low, here's high, here's middle. Place that underneath your sacrum. The sacrum is the flat bone at the bottom of the spine. Good. So set the sacrum down, let your hands roll out to the sides. Then draw the right knee in, left knee in, both feet up. And even here, so energy is pouring down into the body, right? So let the chin fall away from the chest. Let the palms roll open. And then separate the feet just slightly. Stretch and squeeze your toes. Stretch. Good, then point and flex 5 times. Good, then rotate the ankles 5 times. And go the opposite direction. Good, then just bring the feet back together and take 3 breaths. Letting the heart relax, letting the lungs relax. Let's stay here for 3 more breaths. The longer we're in a posture, the more we're able to ground and settle. Good. Now go ahead and bend your knees. Place the right foot down and then the left. Slide that block out. Good. Take your hands out to a T position. Bring the knees in and exhale them over to the left. Good. Set them down. From here, draw your chin across your chest and look out over the right arm, getting a nice recline twist. You can even take your left hand to the top of the right thigh, pressing your right shoulder down into the floor to open up even more. Good. In this posture, for grounding and settling Vata, let's inhale through the nose and incorporate that open mouth exhale where we release the tongue to the lower jaw, making a ha sound as you exhale. Let's do that 3 times. Go ahead and look up at the ceiling, then bring the knees up. You might want to set the feet down and just adjust your spine. Bring the knees in and lower them to the right. Good. Let the knees settle. Draw the chin across the chest to look out over your left arm. Right hand to the top of the left thigh. Good. Let's take 5 breaths here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Three more. Last one. Good. Go ahead and look up at the ceiling. Bring the knees up. Place the feet down, straighten out your spine. And then one more time, big self-hug, wrapping your hands around the fronts of the shins, drawing the chin to the chest. And give yourself a nice, like I haven't seen you in so long, oh my gosh, I love you hug. Great. Set the legs down. And go ahead and walk the legs out and prepare for Shavasana. You might want a pillow under the head or under the knees. In fact, taking that rolled towel under the knees feels quite good if there's any elevated Vata because it supports the low back. Okay. I'm going to take one more settling breath. And now I want you to squeeze your fists, squeeze your feet, squeeze your arms and your legs, lift everything an inch off the ground, squeeze even your face, squeeze your whole body as tight as you can. Tight, 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 tight. Even tighter, drop it. Good. Rock your head side to side. And take 2 breaths. You may notice that there's a little quiver or twitch in some of the muscles as that energy gets released. Let's do that one more time. Squeeze the whole body. Lift the arms and legs and head off the ground. Squeeze everything really tight. Squeeze your belly, squeeze your butt, squeeze your back, your face, your arms, your hands, your feet. Squeeze tighter, and drop. Roll the head side to side. Make yourself absolutely comfortable so that you can be still for the next few minutes. Take a moment and just follow my voice around as we actively bring relaxation to each part of the body by directing our prana through thought. So all of your energy at your forehead, relax the whole face, relax the tongue, relax the ears, the neck, and the shoulders. Relax the right elbow, the right wrist, and your right hand. And relax the elbow, still on the right side, the right shoulder, the right chest, the right side of your abdomen, your right hip. Relax the whole thigh, the hamstring and the quadriceps. Soften and relax your right knee, the right shin, the right calf muscles, the right ankle, and the whole right foot relaxes. All the toes, all the tendons, all soften and relax. And coming back into the throat area, soften the throat. Relax your tongue. Move over into the left shoulder, softening and relaxing the whole left shoulder, the left bicep and tricep, left elbow, forearm, wrist, and the whole left hand softens. Come back through the left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, and then working down the left side of the body, soften the left chest, the waist, the left hip, the left glute, the hamstrings and quadriceps, the knee, shin, calf, and left ankle all softening, left toes and foot, tendons all relaxing. Sweeping over the whole lower part of the body, front, sides, and back. Draw your energy up over the legs, allowing them a little bit more relaxation. Coming into the hips and lower belly. Softening even the low back, mid back, and upper back. The chest, shoulders, throat, the front of the neck and the back of the neck, the jaw, the face, the eyes, and the whole head softens and relaxes. One of the things that we need to support for Vata is our focus, our attention, and our willpower. So now I'd like you to think of a sankalpa, which is a strong intention that you would like to commit to for the day. And I want you to say that sankalpa out loud. I'll share mine so that you get an idea. Today, I am healthy. Today, I am strong. And today, I will be happy all day long. Take a moment to breathe in that sankalpa, letting that message reach every single cell in the body. And then exhaling with a sense of joy and completion that that sankalpa is already true, already happening. Notice your breath. Notice how the body moves as it is breathed, as you are breathed. Take another deep breath in, and this time as you do that, wiggle your fingers and toes. Start to move the ankles, the wrists, the elbows. Good, draw the knees in. And from here, stretch your arms up overhead. Give yourself a nice deep stretch, pressing the sacrum down into the floor. Good, and then gently roll to your left. Let's roll to your right side. I'm gonna roll to my left so I can see you, but you guys all roll to the right. Good, this helps to keep the lunar side of the body, the lunar channels, the mind channels open and calm. Good, and then from here, gently press up to a seated posture. We're going to share just a few little rounds of breathing exercise. So this morning we're going to practice alternate nostril breathing, which is very, very balancing for the body. It helps to redirect or recalibrate all of the different vayus, or the different directions of wind in the body. There's 5 to 10 different directions of wind in the body that all have a different function. And in order to keep them all moving in the right direction, practicing this alternate nostril breathing is very helpful. This morning, we're going to make it a little bit more forceful, because that will also help to ground and energize Vata. So we're making this Vishnu Mudra or the Shaka, right? Both have a very powerful energy to them. And we're going to just maybe watch for a second. We're going to start by closing off the right nostril. And it's a regular inhale, but with a little bit more force to the exhale. Not forceful like Kapalabhati or Bhastrika, but just a little extra umph. So it looks like this. Okay. Join me when you're ready. We're going to start on the right side. So close the right nostril with a thumb. Inhale. Push it out. Inhale through the right. Close the right. Force it out through the left. Inhale left. Close, open the right. Good. Let's do that 3 more rounds on your own. You want to end by coming back to the left side, making that the last breath. And then coming to a stable seat. You might notice a flush of heat to the body. That's helping the body to release toxins and to stabilize even more the breath and mind. Good. From here, sit up nice and tall. I want you to take your hands behind your back, and you're going to clasp the dominant hand with your less dominant hand, and then make the chin or OK mudra with your dominant hand. So that's happening behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, fold forward, hopefully taking your forehead to the floor or maybe onto a block, coming into yoga mudra. This helps to seal in and contain those energies of Vata and the benefits of our practice. Good. From here, make this the slowest thing you do all day. And as if you were moving in slow motion, come back to a seated posture. Good. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Or maybe even let's place them over our belly button. So making this kind of diamond-shaped mudra. The center is your belly button. Good. We're just going to share one nice strong Om, and you want to gather the energy from this Om, from this place, right? So we're activating our abdominal area through sound. So invite a nice deep breath in. Take a moment to give yourself another hug. And I encourage you all to love yourself as much as you love the most beloved person in your life. That's you. That's who you love the most. This is the most awesome person in the whole universe. It's you. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. If you've got any questions, I'll hang out for a few minutes and hopefully I'll be able to answer them. Otherwise, I hope to see you next week, and shoot us an email if you've got any questions. Mwah! See you later. Bye, Nicole. Bye, Rainey. Bye, Kristen. Kevin, hope to see you later.